Michael never understood why his grandmother insisted that he call her every Sunday at exactly 7 o'clock in the evening. No matter how busy he was, she would always answer on the first ring and ask him about his week. When Michael got older, the calls became shorter. Sometimes he forgot, sometimes he called late, but his grandmother never complained. One Sunday, he called and no one answered. He tried again. Nothing. A few hours later, his mother called with heartbreaking news. His grandmother had passed away that morning. Weeks later, while helping clean out her house, Michael found a small box with his name on it. Inside was a notebook. On every page was a date, the date of every Sunday call. Next to each date, his grandmother had written notes about their conversations. Michael got his first job today. Michael sounds tired. I hope he's taking care of himself. Michael laughed a lot today. That made me happy. Then he reached the final page. It had been written months before her death. It said, "One day I won't answer the phone. When that day comes, I hope Michael knows that hearing his voice every Sunday was the best part of my week." Amazing story. For the first time in years, Michael sat down and cried. The following Sunday, without really thinking about it, he picked up his phone at 7 o'clock. He stared at the screen for a moment, then opened the notebook and began reading. Page after page, he listened to her words. It felt like hearing her voice again. The next week, he did the same, and the week after that. Years later, Michael still set aside a few minutes every Sunday evening. Sometimes he read a page from the notebook. Sometimes he simply talked out loud, sharing news he wished he could tell her. Then life changed. Michael became a father. When his children were old enough to talk on the phone, he started a new tradition. Every Sunday at 7, they called him. At first, the conversations were simple. "Dad, guess what happened at school today?" "Dad, I scored a goal." "Dad, I made a new friend." As the years passed, the calls changed, just as his had with his grandmother. His children grew busy, they moved away. Sometimes the calls were short, sometimes they forgot and called late. And every time the phone rang, Michael answered on the first ring. He never complained. One evening after a Sunday call, he opened his grandmother's notebook and smiled. For the first time, he truly understood why those calls had mattered so much. It had never been about the schedule. It had never been about the phone. It was simply about staying connected to the people you love. And when his children eventually had children of their own, Michael hoped they would pass the tradition along. Because every Sunday at 7, he remembered that he had been deeply loved, and now, in his own way, he was passing that love forward.